back, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel of the High Priestess of Hedonism. We are in conversation with the wonderful Bobby Cash, India's first and only true blue country singer. Tighten your seatbelt as we take you to the world's two major havens of country music, Tamworth in Australia and Nashville, Tennessee in the United States. Grab a ringside seat to the mesmerizing concert that includes Bobby Cash's big entry into Bollywood, where he sings for no other than the legend himself, Amitabh Bachchan. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bobby Cash.
Oh, Bobby Cash is amazing. I'd not heard Bobby Cash before, and now I'm a Bobby Cash fan. I didn't know what to expect, and he gets up there, and here is this guy with incredible pure country voice. I mean, his voice is a cross between somewhere between Charlie Pride and Ray Price. I mean, it is real, genuine. It's a genuine article, and he knows those great songs, and he delivers them so well. And so I immediately became a Bobby Cash fan. I've been talking about him all week this week since I saw his performance, and I hope to get to hear him sing many more times in the future. He's a true delight.
I'm going to make a special request. That's one number that I keep, it plays on the loop in my head. I've heard it a few times. I keep going back to it. I can't get it out of my head. It's a famous Bollywood number, but it's rendered in Bobby's style. It's just a pure guitar rendition. It like in my mind, it likens you to Mark Knopfler. And if Mark Knopfler hears you, I'm sure he's going to agree with me. Really. So I'm going to request you to play Nashili Aake on your guitar, Bobby. Have a go at it, please. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay, I'll do that. It's just all these, it's just my unique style of playing,
That was pure gold, Bobby. Pure gold.
Every time,
Fantastic.
kind of improvising. Every time I play, I play differently. I don't remember how I played the way you heard it last time. Thank you very
Fabulous.
much.
Thank you. Bobby, I remember you were scouted by Jawahar Wattal or Magna Sound, and you cut
Yes,
some Hindi albums too.
yes.
Jawahar Bhai was so proud of you. I used to go to the studio to, for some voiceover work, and that was the time he was, really launching stars like Shubha Mudgal, Dileer Mehndi, Baba
Mehndi.
Sehgal, and you. So can you tell us a
Yeah.
bit about that phase of your career, the Hindi music career? You've cut some
Yeah.
albums as well.
It was just this happened about the same time I started singing in rodeo, and then that was the time when Hindi pop, independent Hindi
Yes,
pop music,
yes. It has
you know,
shot up. Yes,
it had shot up, and Magnus Sound was, of course, the big label that was
correct.
launched right from there. Done Alicia Chenoy, and then they were signing up a lot of new talent, and Jawar, came very close to me, of course, but he said, "Okay, Magnus Sound wants you." I mean, and how I met him, that's another story, but
Yes,
interesting turn of events, but. Anyway, here I was. I said I don't sing in Hindi. I'm really a Western singer,
correct.
and I never fancied myself as a Hindi singer. I said there's so many good Hindi singers. I mean, who really do justice. This is not really my forte.
Yeah,
But somehow, I mean, Magnus Sound and the head of Magnus Sound. He also he somehow he liked me and very he said doesn't matter. And because this is Hindi pop and this is India, we want you on. I said, okay. And it was, back then it was a big thing to sign on with a record label. These days,
yes,
anyone can record their studios and you can do your own production. And it was a big thing because, so I remember, that a lot of, because I was also by then I was based in Delhi, so there was, Magnus Sound signed me on, they signed on Daler Mehendi and, later on Shubha Mudgil and
right.
whole roster of artists, and I was right up there with them, and and when it came to the songs, my mother was, she was beautiful. She could write. She could write in English. She knew Urdu, Shero Shari,
Yes.
and
And beautiful words, actually.
yeah, and she wrote all these songs for me for my
Ah,
first, yeah, and I mean doing the music and composing the melodies, so I told Jawar I have these songs, I said great, I love these songs, and I mean long and short of it, but I was signed up with Magnus Sound, and I recorded my first Hindi album, and that was like when Hindi pop was, so in one sense, I was also one of the one of the pioneers with a lot of the early guys of Hindi pop,
correct.
it took Hindi pop became so big, and then after that I did another album called Rukja Baby.
Yes. That was very popular. It was
Yeah,
very
yeah, that
popular.
song became,
Yes, that's right.
and there was another album I did that was a guitar instrumental, film hits on guitar. So those, so I mean and back then you had Channel V and MTV, and you had music videos which played. It
Yes,
was a big thing,
correct.
different
It was a big
type
thing.
of
Yes.
music. So there I was on Channel V and doing Hindi pop and all that stuff, and especially after Rukcha Baby, which became quite successful.
It was very successful. Yes.
But at the same time, I was Bobby Cash, and I was the guy with the guitar, and I remember during the Hindi pop days, I did a lot of events with a lot of us artists, we used to, with Daler and all these guys, and we used to sing on the stage, and we had these girls dancing with us, and I've also done that.
Yeah.
But but people who love Bobby Cash, the country music artist, the cowboy, man, they
Correct.
say, what are you doing? But it was good because back then it got me on television.
That's right.
It got me out of the just not just somebody who sing in hotels. It sort of it brings you a celebrity status, especially back then if you're on TV.
Absolutely.
I remember when I used to come to Dehradun in those days. Every time I used to come and visit, and everybody in a smaller place then, everybody said, "Oh, भाई साहब आपको टीवी पे देखा था. It was a big thing. There was no internet and stuff.
Undoubtedly.
It sort of set me, you know, because I was known because I was, you know, I was in Channel V, I was on MTV, you know, and I was doing these bigger events, you know, sort of a celebrity status, you know, as a Hindi artist. So I said, it's great, you know. Look at me. Because I saw guys, I saw guys and girls, you know. I mean, literally, oh, you know, they were doing any, you know, they were working so hard just to get a break with the label, you know, just to get. And here I was, you know, who didn't even sing in Hindi, and
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, I'm going to take it, and then I said, music is music. I said, I can do it. I've never done it because I believe that. I said, I can Hindi. I said, I can do it. You know,
Sure.
if I can sing, you know, English, I can do this. I have no problems with that. It's just that I have to do it. You know, my mom would write the songs.
Yes. And this spirit and this attitude, I think it led you to become one of the big artists with Archie's music as well when Archie's got into music. You were
Yes,
one of the big names, you know, at Archie's music.
Yes, I mean they launched people like Euphoria, and you know,
Correct.
and so I was right there, you know, and it's in fact only because after that, then I had to I took a call. I said, like, you know, once you have a successful song, you know, like Rukja and that
Yes.
Archie's album I did, pressure on you is, you know, I mean the industry accept this, you know, they expect it from you that, okay, what's the next song,
Correct.
and then you get branded. Here, so far, I could maintain the cowboy thing, you know, with Bobby Cash, the country artist, and you know who can also sing this. I had to make a serious choice. I said, do I do another Hindi album? And then, of course, what happened with most of the Hindi pop artists? Practically, most of them are my friends. Most of them went to Bollywood. That's
That's true.
you know. I said, do I really want this? Is this what I said? Is this? I mean, this is the way I mean, I'm a guitar player. I do different music, and I love all music. I enjoy doing that music. It's no problems with that. I said, but this is not me.
Correct.
So after that Rukja album, that Archie's album, I didn't do another Hindi album. I said, okay, I'm getting back to my usual thing, you know. I'd rather Uber Roy's, and you know, I'll do my kind of events. But I said, if I do another album, then that's it, you know, and that becomes a bigger hit than, you know. I mean, I'm branded in the industry, which is good. I can make a lot of money. I'll get even more famous. Then I'll end up singing in the films. But I said, so that was my final album in Hindi, and then of course. But
And that brings me to you know, to your other. I'm losing you, Bobby, in between.
yeah,
Yeah, it's better now. It's fine. You're back.
yeah.
Yes, you're back now. That brings me to your other main milestone, which actually, you know, became the turning point in your musical journey, your musical career. Tell us, I think it was at the Oberoi that you met the talent manager or this big shot producer from Australia. Tell us about that, please.
You know, all through the years when I was singing in Delhi at Uber Roy's and rodeos and so many, I think I've been involved with, you know, it's the Lalit now, and then Moria's and Taj everywhere.
Yes.
I had people from all over the world, and I used to perform for the diplomatic circle every time. And Americans met me, they said, Bobby Cash, you've got to come to America, to Nashville. And I remember there was a guy who actually came. He wanted to, he said, I'll spend $1 million, a very serious guy. I met people like, I said, I'm very happy with my life here, you know. I don't want to, I said, I'm just happy in Delhi, and, you know, I've got a family, small kids. I don't want to complicate things too much. But every time I'd hear it, and then Australians would always talk about their country and the Tamworth Country Music Festival. They say, you have to come there and perform. I said, okay, mate, you know, maybe one day I will. And then one night at the Uber Roy's, at the club bar, there's this guy who was staying there. He's actually a television guy. Okay, he's from Australian television, and he was working on a sports series with ESPN.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But he's also a filmmaker, a television guy. And he heard me play, and he was like, "Wow." So after I finished performing, he said, the usual thing, you're fan, great stuff, and he said, I'm from Australia. I said, I can tell by the way you talk, yeah. But he said, have you heard of the Tamworth Country Festival? I said, not another one. I said, every Australian I meet tells me, mate, you gotta go there. I said, you're one of them. He said, I'm here for ESPN. I'm doing this television thing, and how would you like to come to the Tamworth Country Music Festival? People talk, they have a few drinks and everybody gets, I mean, I was used to it. I said, here's another guy who's talking, and he said, okay, we'll make big plans. And I said, yeah, of course, it would be great. He said, no, I'm a filmmaker. I do television, and you've got real talent. And why don't you, come to the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and I'd like to make a film about you, like a documentary. It's going to be very interesting. And this was, I think, I met him in 2002. Yes. All right, this was winter time, probably maybe February or sometime, And I think, and of course, 9/11, which I think today is 9/11.
Yes.
Had,
9/11, that's right, yes.
So this is not very long after that, whatever, it had happened. He said, the world is, there's so much of division and stuff. It'd be great to have a talented guy from India come into Tamworth, and, music connects people, and see, how it doesn't matter where you come from, where, with this musical connection. That kind of appealed to me. I said, that's great. And I had a very close friend of mine, I don't know whether you know Manish Kunte, but at that point of time he was also working with television, and so I said, Manish was there with me, and Manish was also working with this guy on his television thing. I said, this guy seems very serious. I said, okay. I said, call if you're really serious about it. Sounds good. And you keep in touch with me. I said, probably this guy will go away and I'll forget about it. And then I told Manish, I said, hey man, this is Tamworth Country Music Festival. This guy, he just wants to roll some cameras on us. He thinks I'm tired. I said, great. I said, we'll just go, we'll have a paid holiday, and we'll get to hear some great country music, some of the best artists in the world. Hang out there for a week or 10 days, the festival lasts, and we go there, let him do his shooting bet and whatever he wants to, take all the footage and make a nice documentary. And if I get a chance to play anywhere, I said, I can handle it. No worries about it. So that was the whole thing. And later in the year, I think about this was over. A meeting happened maybe January, February, about October or so. And no, Manish kept in touch with him. I'm totally out of touch. He said, these guys are serious, and they've already set up for you to come to the festival. I said, whoa, oh, this is serious, And lo and behold, in January, and I told this Aussie guy, I said, okay, if I come, I won't come alone. I'll bring my friend with me. He has to, take care of him too. January, I land up in Australia, and the moment I get off the airport, there's like cameras on me. It was like, now you have reality television. So it was like not a pre-planned script, but, and then we headed into Tamworth. I mean, I was a total unknown. I started. So Tamworth, it was Country Music Festival time. Thousands of people there. Venues are full. Streets are full of people, and there's music on the streets. There's buskers, there's bands playing. So they found a spot for me on the main music road, music called Peel Street, and here they set me up with with my guitar, a little sound system, and there's noise all around, and they've got cameras on me, and I mean that was it. And here I'm singing, when I'm singing, people passing by, they stop. And suddenly, big crowds of people started. I said, who's this guy? I mean, this guy is good, and like word of mouth, and I had big crowds. I said, this guy is, I mean, he sounds like a great country music artist come from America. Who's this guy? And I think the festival lasts for 10 days. I think for 4 days I might have played on the road, on street. I think by the fourth day I was featured in the national newspapers. I was on primetime ABC News there's this guy, and probably by the fifth day, everybody, it's like there's this guy who like and there's thousands of people there, country music fans. On the fifth day, I was playing in a venue. Somebody found me here. They said this guy's got to play in a venue, like a proper stage, proper auditorium. And I play in this venue, and that venue is chockers full. There's people all over, and they're, and then I'm playing at this venue, and then in walks Australia's biggest country music legend, Smokey Dawson, who's now no more. He died at the age of 100. And he comes to hear me sing, and he sings. I mean, it was like the people, the media, they just loved what I was doing. And by the time it was week, I was at everybody, and then I'd been on national television, and so people all over Australia knew about this guy. And then there's somebody who watched me on ABC News. There was a primetime special, about this guy, American farmer settler, who's a very legendary man who just died at the age of 104. In fact, I met him in January, just before his birthday. He was 103. He watched me on the news. He sent his guys. He's a great inventor, born before born around the First World War, and a legendary man. But
What is his name with us, Bobby?
huh?
Share his name
He's
with
a-
us?
Roy Icamp.
Ah,
Roy Icamp. Okay.
right.
And I'm at this show in Australia, playing at this venue, and there's some big guys, big Aussie guys who come up to me wearing their Aussie Kubras, and they say, mate, there's a rich farmer. He's originally from America. He sent us to get you. He lives somewhere out in the country. And Australia is a big. You can get out there in the country. There's, it's like miles of nowhere. And he has this huge.
Yes, I remember that, but yes.
I'm a total. My first trip there. So my film crew, I said, hey, these guys. I could just disappear. I don't know these guys. I don't know what they're up to. They want to take me somewhere. Anyway, my whole crew was with me, and you know what TV people are like? They say, wow, this is going to make. And they said this guy is very reclusive. He doesn't like cameras, and But I said, I'm not coming alone. So the whole crew, I said, we'll follow you guys. And somewhere out in the country, there's this huge farm, which has all kinds of machinery which he's invented, And I meet this absolutely amazing guy, who's, and I go there, meet him. The cameras are on me. And this is all part of the documentary, if you've seen it. I meet Roy.
Yes.
and he plants cacao grass and takes. He says, I made millions of dollars selling grass. Brilliant man. He said, what can I do for you? Wow. He said, I like you. I'm a fan of country music. And cut a long story short. By this time, I'm known all over Australia. Just hardly within 10 days, I know the industry people. I met all the big stars. And Roy said, I'll help you. I won't, get you to record your album here. I love your music. 3 months, I think this January, this festival happens. In May, I was back in Australia with Angie and the kids. I said, I don't want to go alone. I'm attached to them. And I was in the studio recording with, I had written songs, and during that time, I co-wrote songs with some Australian and American songwriters. And I was in the finest studio in Australia recording my first album, COWBOY at Heart. And some great musicians. I remember the guy who was playing piano with me. We used to play for Elvis Presley and Neil Diamond, that level of musician.
Amazing.
Finest musicians.
Finest musician.
And this is like it's one of those things which happens once in a but that's what happened. This album comes out, and when it's released, it hits the country music charts, and this is all unplanned. I thought we'd go and do the festival, come back, and that's it.
The holiday. That's right.
Yeah. I have I make a nice living in Delhi. I have everything,
Yeah.
I'm doing well.
Correct.
Right. and suddenly here I am, and then the album is out, and before I know it, like I'm booked out for tours in Australia, and straight away, like normally when you go to a new place, you have to start out from the scratch. You become an opening act, and here I'm booked out for headline concerts all across Australia, and I have Australian talent coming and opening for me, and my venues are sold out, So that's how the touring started, and and before I knew it, I said, wow, this is 2003, starts early. I'm based in Delhi, and suddenly I realized that I can no longer be in Delhi. So I said, what do I do? I mean, I'm gone from home, and this is when Uber always happened. And I remember when I'd gone to Australia, I told Uber I'm going for a week, and I'm coming back. And I came back, that was it. The whole, the course of everything. And then I said, okay, I mean, what's my family going to do in Delhi alone? So everything had to, then we moved back to, I moved them back to Dehradun. I literally had to, and I like Delhi. I had a beautiful time there, great memories. It was like home. I loved it, but it was just that it was like about turn, and so here it's back in Dehradun, and then from there on I was living out my suit because my tours, I'd come back home to Dehradun, and then off on tours, and then recording albums, and so sometimes these things happen, but again I was ready, when I went to Australia I was ready.
No, what a remarkable trajectory and catapulting of an already great talent into another orbit, and then you were approached by this producer, a Honcho producer from Australia. You are virtually invited to the Tamworth Country Music Festival, which is such a big win, and then the inevitable happened. It was such a big thing that time. A documentary was made on you called An Indian Cowboy, One in a Billion, aptly titled. And it was aired all across Australia on ABC television, all across India on Discovery Channel. What a sense of high. What a sense of achievement, really.
Back then it was a big thing because now there's a lot of Indian people since then who have suddenly the world has opened up for us, But at that time it was especially in Australia, apart from Sachin Tendulkar, nobody thought much of people from India.
Correct.
Cricket was the big thing. And of course I did end up singing at the Sydney cricket ground,
Yeah,
when India
yes.
went to play Australia, right in the middle of.
Wow.
Yeah. I sang the Indian national anthem.
Amazing.
Standing with our Indian team, but back then, it was a big thing, suddenly this, and then with all that happening, then then it was moving towards America.
Correct.
And again again in the US, I went to Nashville.
Yes. Oh, the motherland.
But I got exactly the same reception like in Australia.
Yes.
And Americans are even more. Australians are still more conservative.
Correct.
I mean, I performed at the Country Music Award Showcase in the US. I got a standing ovation there, and the head of CMA, Country Music Association, and he was the first guy to stand up. And then again, the same thing started happening all over in Nashville, except this time, this was America.
Yeah.
Now, where the deal with America is, if you want to do something in America, you got to go and live in America.
Yeah.
And I mean, later on in Australia also, I had the same thing, because I became so much part of the industry and all the shuttling back and forth. And I have people there depending on me. It's a very professional. It's a business thing. So then the next step for me was to live in Australia. I said I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to. I never planned for this. I'm willing to bring my music, but if it means living in Australia and becoming an Australian citizen, I said I belong here. This is my country. This is my town, and in Australia so I got a lot of, because the kind of reception I got in America, the thing was sign me up. Even in recent years, I've had labels say, but they say you have to come in America and be an American country music artist. We'll invest millions of dollars in you, but then you have to be here. But I know what I want in life, so I said, I said, I can be the best without doing that. You know, I said, I'll still be the best. They still know I'm good, but so that is something so a lot of people have often asked me, how come you live here? You live in India, you live in Dehradun. Why do you live here? I said, because I like it. It's simple. This is where my heart is, you know, and I'm under no compulsion.
No.
You know, this is where I'm happy. This is where I belong. You know, it doesn't affect my talent. Doesn't affect my music. Yes, you know, it does. I don't become a superstar. I don't become, you know. That's never my goal. You know, I don't make millions of dollars. I said I was never out to do that. You know, what I'm happy with that, more than enough. So a lot of people ask me this. Why didn't you live there? Why you were getting these, you know? Because most people would, you know, they'd cut off their left arm or whatever. So, but for me, I always saw things very clear, you know, at every point of time. You know, like with the Hindi pop thing, I said, okay, this is it. This is where I go. But where I don't stop is with the excellence and with the desire to learn and get better and better, you know. And I don't want anybody who heard me 10 years back to hear me and say, what happened to Bobby Cash?
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
say he's better than, you know. I think it's just like a personal thing with me, and it doesn't bother anybody. I'm not taking anything away. It's just my. So which is why. But then I've had all these things, you know, and from different parts of the world, you know. But I said, this is one thing I won't live in Australia. I won't live in America. I'm going to live here.
You've made your choices. You've been very clear about that. You've been very, in a way, obstinate about that. You paved your own road. You traversed on that path that you've created for yourself. But things happen to you. You know, for example, you shunned Hindi music at one time, but now Bollywood came to you. You just sang for Amitabh Bachchan and Gulabo Sitabo, right? How was that experience?
You know, again, it's one of the strange things, because I have. I mean, somebody asked me when this came out, and you know, there was somebody read an article about it, heard the song, and they said, "Hey, when did you go to Bollywood?" I said, "I never went to Bollywood, man." I said, "Bollywood came to me." No, it's just that. I mean, I know some very fine people in Bollywood, and this, you know, this great music, and somehow people know about me in Bollywood.
Yes, yes.
They know that this is a very good musician. And they also know that this guy, again, the thing with Bollywood is, if you want to be part of Bollywood, you have to go to Bombay. Simple.
Correct.
Or in
Correct.
Mumbai.
That's right.
That is the deal, you know. Like in America, you want country music, you have to.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Which is why there's so many people I know who have based themselves in Bombay. Even some of the Hindi pop artists that I was with. That's the way the industry operates. No,
Correct.
Bollywood is going to come to you.
Correct.
You have to be
Correct.
24 hours, and you have to belong there.
That's right.
So.
But I think we'll hear more of you in films as well. I just have a feeling that's going to happen, and they'll come with an offer that you won't be able to refuse. You know, like The Godfather famously said, that's going to happen. Would you sing a few strains of Gulabo Sitabo for us, please, Bobby?
Yeah, I will. You know, this very interesting song because, you know, most people think that Bobby Cash is the guy who sings about cowboys, and you know, Bobby Cash sings love songs. You know, singing to beautiful women and romantic songs. The song is about a Budhau, an old man.
Fabulous.
But it kind of, you know, what appealed to me was that, number one, this was for Amitabh Bachchan.
Correct.
Amitabh is Amitabh Bachchan.
Absolutely.
And it was, this song was tailor written for his character, but it was also written, in a sense, for Bobby Cash to sing.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
अचकन के भागों पे लटके बुढ़ऊ फटी अचकन के भागों पे लटके बुढ़ऊ सांसें अटकी हैं फिर भी देखो ना सुथरे बुढ़ऊ फटी अचकन के भागों पे लटके बुढ़ऊ खटके जमाने की आंखों में उलझे गठरी की गांठों में दुक्कड़ पे बाजारों में सैर सपाटा करे फटी अचकन के धागों पे लटके बुढ़ऊ सांसें अटकी हैं फिर भी देखो ना सुथरे बुढ़ऊ खाली थाली में गाली परोसे हाथों में दुनाली ₹98 का कमाने वाला बातों में बेमिसाली इसकी कमरिया नचकती नजरिया मटकती और भटके बुढ़ऊ फटी अचकन के धागों पे भटके बुढ़ऊ सांसें अटकी हैं फिर भी देखो ना सुधरे बुढ़ऊ न कोई समझे क्या ये चीज है बुढ़ऊ इसकी बदतमीजी में थोड़ी सी तमीज है रग रग में इसकी कारस्तानी है खुद ना सोए और नींदों को चुलाए चले ये तो ख्वाबों को ओढ़े बिछाए चले छिपा दाढ़ी में तिनका घूमे दड़ियल बुढ़ऊ फटी अचकन के धागों को बुंदे बुढ़ऊ सांसें अटकी हैं अब तो संभल जा दड़ियल बुढ़ऊ बुढ़ऊ ओ बुढ़ऊ दड़ियल बुढ़ऊ oh buddha something like that
Fabulous,
I've
fabulous.
forgotten some of the words
But you know, you have to sing in films. You're also made for that. You've done such an excellent job. You know, you've been forced to do it, and you've done such a beautiful job. Really, Bobby, we have to hear you in Hindi movies as well.
well you know what I think because of the pandemic and everything right now because there was when all this happened and this
Yes.
movie came out there was already people talking about it but it will happen but I'm going to be very picky and choosy it's like
Correct.
something that sort of fits me because there's certain kind of songs which there's a lot of other singers who can do that but a song like this I think this is kind of tailor-made for me
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely. No, fantastic. And Bobby, you have this full-fledged state-of-the-art studio at your lovely, lovely home in Clementown, Devon. So, what can your fans and music lovers expect next from you?
There's a beautiful gospel song that I'm working on, and we want to make a great production of it. And this is a song that which is sung in churches all over in India and so many parts. So, but I had never sung it. So I said I'm going to record that because a lot of people. And then I'm also this year I recorded a duet with an Australian singer which was released in India. I might let's see if we release it here. But I'm currently also I'm working on. Some of my own songs with a very talented young Indian country music artist inspired by me and who's a great singer, sings beautifully. So he said, I want to do these duets with you of your songs. So I want to encourage him, and he's really good. So I've been working on that, So these are my own songs, but which I made it to the charts outside. So I'm really pleased with that, So.
We look forward to that. We really
And
look forward to that.
and also, I want to record some guitar stuff and all.
Fantastic. Bobby, you have reached the pinnacle in your genre. You are India's first and only true blue country musician. You have taken Australia by storm. You have recorded with the legendary Laurie Benson. You have performed with the iconic Smokey Dawson. and the celebrated Tanya Kernigan. You have been given recognition by the in the country music motherland, by the Country Music Association in Nashville, Tennessee. And you tell me that you pursue excellence. So tell me, what else drives you? What drives Bobby Cash to, go from one milestone to another to another?
I'm actually a person who sort of doesn't plan long term, but I believe taking it one day at a time. And every day you be the best you can be. It's instead of I always tell people, I said, you don't have to do it my way. But for me, for the kind of person I am, the one day at a time thing works good. So every day, move a bit ahead, And of course, I think, like I said, this thing for every day brings you closer to that. And this is something I said, I think if you're a true giver, ways will just open up. I mean that's my experience. I have personally, I can say that I have never ever had to go to anybody and say, hey, give me a break, or I don't know, maybe this is the way it's happened with me, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you go and do that, but personally for me, I have whatever I've done it with honesty, and I have cared for people. When I sing for people, perform, I actually care for them, and I think somehow, I don't know, maybe people notice these things or whatever. I don't know, but it just works. But one day at a time, I don't think what's going to happen after 10 years, But I know one thing, whatever it will be, it's going to be good. That I'm going to be better, and I'll have moved on ahead from where I am. And I like these surprises, I don't even want to know. I don't want to be the kind of person who knows exactly what's ahead. And okay, this is charted out, in the next 5 years, this is next 3 years. There are people who make goals like that and they attain them. But I think setting too many goals, and it's like unnecessary pressure upon yourself. I like to enjoy my days. I like to pick up my guitar and enjoy it, and it's like, it's not even drifting. There's a purpose to it, but it's not being burdened. It's not being burdened. Oh, I got to achieve this, or I got to win this award. I got to do this, I believe that as you walk down that road every day, good things will happen, and you make good things happen for other people. For me, when I sing, the very least I said, at least if I can make somebody smile. So it's a very simple way of looking at things, but it works for me, and that's what's going to keep me going.
Absolutely. And you reminded me about it being the anniversary of 9/11. I feel it is such a fantastic coincidence that we got talking today. We had this virtual meet. It is, I think, propitious, and it's a harbinger, because I feel, along with books and art, music is something that will reinstate faith, give us hope and optimism, instill happiness, instill aspiration in us. And I think, with you having, on the forum with us, we really celebrated that spirit of humaneness, that spirit of, excellence in a human being. It's really a way forward, It's fantastic. It's really a harbinger of good things to come, Bobby. I truly feel so.
Yes, I look forward to good things for me and you, for everybody. It's up to us. There's so much good still around. It's up to us to hook onto it.
That's correct.
To give it place in our lives.
It's
up to us what we receive and what we accept in our hearts, in our minds, in our thoughts, in our lives. It's the ultimate choice lies with us. Or we can just drift whichever way, somebody else wants us to drift, but we make these choices.
Correct. What fantastic life lessons that you came up with. I wasn't expecting it, but you're quite the sage, really, Bobby. So sort of, enamored by what you said, for some of the things you said, and great lessons for the millennial, really, for the young. I hope that they, listen in and latch on to some of the fabulous things that you said. Great life lessons, great, choices that you've made, and great examples you've set for the next progeny as well. For posterity, really.
Aruna, one of the things is simple for especially the millennials and the new generation. Just slow down.
Yes.
Just take it easy.
Slow down. Yes.
Slow down. Just slow down.
Correct. And be content. And be content. You look at
Be
you.
content.
Yes. Yes.
If you slow down, just reset. Your speedometer and.
That's right. And the third thing, the third example that they should pick up from you, or anybody from any future pick up from you, is be ready. You have kept your game at the top of the notch, and you have been ready for whatever came to you. You were ready, and that's a fabulous lesson, and that's the biggest lesson that you impart today.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, everywhere.
And talent-wise, keep on top of your game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can still enjoy every good thing. There's nothing but don't lose sight of who you are.
That's right.
What you've been blessed with, and what the purpose of it.
Correct. Correct.
I'm a guy who likes, I spend more time. Honest confession, I don't listen to a lot of music. I read. I'm constantly reading. In a year I read thousands of books. But when people say, how come you don't listen to music? I say, music is something that just plays on the inside of me.
Fabulous.
I don't
Marvelous.
place. I just carry it with me. So when you reach that point, when it's and you just you just sort of open up, it just flows out of you.
Quite right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Ed Benson, the chief of Country Music Association, is not the only one who gave a standing ovation to Bobby Cash on the stage on Broadway. Each time he performs anywhere in the world, that's the kind of reaction he always evokes. To end this exciting conversation, today I'm going to make a special request to the one and only Bobby Cash. I'm going to ask him to play the song with which it all began. You want to say something?
No. What's your request?
I'm saying we're going to take you back to that fantastic, first concert in St. Joseph's Academy in Dehradun, from where it all began. And you set the stage on fire, and you set a chill up everybody, and you created such a euphoria, Bobby. I'm going to, ask Bobby Cash to sing Wonderful Tonight.
Okay, all right, I'm going to do that. I'll just tune my guitar. Wonderful Tonight. It's late in the evening. She's wondering what clothes to wear. She puts on her makeup and brushes a long blonde hair. And then she asks me, do I look alright? I see it. You look wonderful tonight. We go to a party. Everyone turns to see this beautiful lady who's walking
walking around with me. And then she asked me, do you feel alright? I say yes, I feel wonderful tonight. I feel wonderful because I see the love light in your eyes, and the wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you. It's time to go home now, and I've got an aching head. So I give her the car keys. She helps me to bed, and then I tell her how to turn out the lights. Say, my darling, you were wonderful tonight. Yes, my darling, you were wonderful tonight.
Thank you, Bobby. I can't thank you enough for your generosity, for the time you've given us, for your talent, and for your brilliance. I thank you really from the depth of my heart and on behalf of all the viewers. Thank you. It was
Thank you.
magical.
And see you when you're in Dehradun next time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the ride, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you when I see you with another special guest another time. Meanwhile, be safe, be kind, be good, be special, and make a difference. And like Bobby said, be ready with your talent, be ready with what you can, or with what you have. And yes, do subscribe to the channel of the High Priestess of Hedonism. Thank you for being with us, and bye for now.
Adios and God bless you all.
Thank you.